Not, I can do it. Just explaining there is a technical issue.
Alex, please.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, depending on where you are. We are sorry there is a technical issue, so the person who is supposed to introduce the webinar, Mr. Willy Fautré from Brussels, is having problems, so I'm introducing the webinar. The webinar, No Peace Without Justice, a new look at the Taijimen case. As always, we start with a video and then there will be a few speeches. Let's start with the video, please.
The Taijimen case of injustice stemmed from a religious group crackdown. The prosecutor illegally indicted Taijimen and referred it to the National Taxation Bureau for taxation. At the public hearing held by the Legislative Yuan on June 17, 2010, the Ministry of Finance and the National Taxation Bureau promised to close this case, but the case remains unsolved today. In 2007, the case has been confirmed not guilty by the Supreme Court. In 2009, Taijimen received national compensation for wrongful detention. Ministry of Finance and National Taxation Bureau should revoke the illegal tax bills right away.
The decisions of all three court trials confirmed the defendants were not guilty, and the court ruling point out the red envelopes given by the Dizi to their shifu are gift in nature and are tax-free income under Article 4, subparagraph 17 of the Income Tax Act, and that items such as the uniforms collectively purchased by the Dizi were handled by some Dizi on behalf of others without any profit-oriented sales. For 10 plus years, the National Taxation Bureau has been using the untrue illegitimate indictment to issue illegal tax bills, commit forgeries, suppress evidence, cheat their superiors and subordinates, and cheat the legislator, the control yuan, the judges, the media, the public, and all the people in our country.
I know this issue has wasted too much time and resource. This is very serious, and it has shaken the 5 branches of government and the foundation of the nation.
The whole judicial system has proved Taijimen innocent. There is no way the investigation by the tax agencies is clearer than that by the judicial department. If you're stuck in a case for more than 10 years, how much pain, how much suffering have you gone through? How can you compensate for the victims' losses?
The red envelope is a way for Dizi to respect their shifu in traditional cultures. I've never heard that it should be taxed. The Chinese Martial Arts Association, Qigong Association, and Taipei Martial Arts Association in October 2003 have publicly declared that none of the member organizations of these 3 associations has been taxed due to the red envelopes. So this illegal taxation by the NTB on Taijimen is a direct insult on all national martial arts and Qigong organizations.
In the criminal and legislative aspects, Taijimen has been declared innocent of all charges. Taijimen has won the case. As for the National Taxation Bureau in the executive yuan system, our appeal has been heard in the Supreme Court. The final decision of the 3 court trials confirmed Taijimen innocent. At the National Taxation Bureau, within the Ministry of Finance's appeal system, Taijimen once again won the case. Even the control yuan decided that Taijimen is innocent. I can't think of any ways after numerous legislators have inquired regarding this case I can't think of any other course of action in our country's legal system can be taken to solve the case. I really don't know what is going on. Is it how our country's legal system is designed?
This case has been dragged for more than 10 years and is unable to be resolved. The administrative agencies have to take full responsibility, while the administrative agencies exercise administrative discretion. They have to ensure that people's human rights on taxation are protected, which is the most important spirit and objective.
Regarding the meaning of the red envelope, is it kind of gift or income of a crane school? In terms of economic substantial meaning regarding Taijimen, at first you have to nail down what given the red envelope. It is different from that of a crane school. Second, it is permanent. It is weird. The tutoring classes always have a certain duration. Some tutoring schools allow you to go to the classes once again after you fail an admission test, but Taijimen Qigong makes you healthier as long as you practice it. The whole definition is not the same.
Criminal proceeds should be forfeited. Only lawful income is taxable. These two cannot exist at the same time. I think it is very strange. During the investigation before the court's ruling, the prosecutor leaked the information to the tax bureau, asked them to levy the tax. I believe these two actions cannot exist at the same time. In fact, it is contradictory. It violates the principle of double jeopardy. If one is right, the other must be wrong.
The National Tax Bureau issued the tax bill. Did not conduct any factual investigation and directly used unlawful bill of indictment as its basis to issue the tax bill. In the 31st meeting of the Committee of Finance and Economic on September 2, 2009, the Control Yuan issued a correction in its 98 Tai Zizi number 098220593 circular. The Control Yuan stated in the report that the NTB had failed to fulfill its duties of factual investigation and assessment when handling the Taijimen tax case, nor did it clarify the nature of income ex officio. This is clearly a suspected negligence of duty. Moreover, the NTB's recordation in the contents of its survey list was sloppy and careless and failed to pay attention to evidence, both favorable and unfavorable, to the taxpayer. Therefore, the Control Yuan had demanded the NTB for improvement.
Taijimen does not have members, does not have students, nor teachers. There are only two things, Shifu and Dizi. Deputy Minister, please take a look. Each of us said the red envelopes were gifts. This is a copy of my response. I said it was gift. We all responded. Gift. Gift. All of us said they were gifts. Gift in nature. This said so too. All 30 of us here said so. They said none of us said those were gifts. Deputy Minister, please look at our copies. Legislators, please take a look too. We all said those were gifts. Given a gift only concerned my Shifu and me. In what capacity did they get to decide whether that was gift or not? Even if that involved gift tax, they should tax me, the giver, not the receiver. Besides, as long as I didn't give more than NTD 1 billion in that year, who are they to say anything? In what capacity did they get to decide whether that was a gift or not? Over the past 10 plus years, Taijimen Dizi are deeply pained. Years ago, in order to improve my physical and emotional health, I gave a red envelope to my Shifu. And then, the monetary gifts, the red envelopes, were used by the tax officers to frame my Shifu. Each of us feels the pain. We have cried so many nights that our tears have run dry. As martial artists, we will no longer accept such injustice. If this matter is not settled today, we will continue to fight for our rights.
If the Taijimen case cannot be resolved, taxation human rights do not exist. So many people. If so many people have appealed yet this grievance still cannot be rectified, then there's no human rights at all.
And now everyone is here. All the information and evidence is here. It's spread out everywhere on the floor. You clearly know that you are wrong. What you said in the past is questionable, but you want to continue to make the same mistake? That's really bad. We request the Ministry of Finance to complete this case in 2 months. What to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Don't delay anymore.
Let the NTB of the Central Area submit the report to the Ministry of Finance. It's the NTB of the Central Area. It's not good to let them take full responsibility. Just report to the Ministry. This is all I will say. Okay, we'll do as the Deputy Minister says. We'll send our official report to the Ministry of Finance. Just now we said to dismiss, to revoke it. Okay, the Taxation Bureau of the The Central Area will report to the Ministry of Finance.
After the public hearing, the Minister of Finance issues an official letter to Legislator Tian in July 22, 2010, and sent it to the Office of Legislator Tu Xingzhe as well, and then sent it to Legislator Justin Chiu on the 30th. He stated clearly that they had asked the NTB of the Central Area to revoke the tax bill in accordance with the Article 40 of the Tax Collection Act. So the NTB of the Central Area should have followed the document of the Ministry of Finance to revoke the execution, but it did not. Instead, it issued a letter to the Hsinchu branch of the Administrative Enforcement Agency, asking it to refer to the provision of Item 3, Article 9 of the Administrative Execution Act, and stop the execution. According to the decision of the public hearing, the NTB should have revoked the execution. How come it shirked the responsibility to the Administrative Enforcement Agency? At that time, the NTB of the Central Area sent a letter saying that the year 1991, 1993 to 1996 are still undergoing appeal. It said if the decision of the appeal were different, it would be of a great influence for the taxpayer. So he asked the Hsinchu branch to stop the execution. Now that the tax amount for the year 1991, 1993 to 1996 has been corrected to 0, the year 1992 should be 0 too. How can it be different from the other years? How can it be illegally executed? So the tax bills are illegal from the very beginning. The NTB of the Central Area should revoke the execution.
In 2007, the Supreme Court affirmed the monetary gifts were tax-exempt in accordance with the law. In 2012, the National Taxation Bureau announced a public survey and collected 7,401 copies of testimonies proving that the monetary gifts are 100% gifts. The National Taxation Bureau has also agreed that Taijimen is not a cram school. In 2018, the Supreme Court determined that Taijimen is an organization of Qigong, martial arts, and self-cultivation. In 2019, the National Taxation Bureau corrected the tax amount for the year of 1991, 1993 to 1996 to 0, but it treats the red envelopes in 1992 as tuition fees and issued tax bills. From 2010 until now, thousands of days have passed. The National Taxation Bureau still has not withdrawn its execution. Snatch civilian property.
So let me just say that for those of you who had no idea about the Taijimen case, we'll now have a rough idea about this unjust case that happened in Taiwan long time ago, and it's not being solved yet, despite victories in the courts of law. I would also tell everyone that you can access all the material about the Taijimen case and the previous webinars on the website taijimencase.org, where you will find a very big amount of information about this human rights case. We can now proceed with the first part of the webinar with a presentation prepared by Dr. Massimo Introvigne, who is founder of the Center for Studies of New Religions based in Turin, Italy, and editor-in-chief of Bitter Winter magazine. Please.
Among Roman Catholics, there is a special literary genre in which the Church proposes its reflections on multilateralism and diplomacy for peace. It is the speech that every year the Pope addresses to the diplomatic corps accredited with the Vatican, which is a sovereign state in addition to being a religious institution. Once a year in the Vatican, the Pope gathers the ambassadors and presents to them his wishes for the new year, together with his comments on the international diplomatic situation. It is worth noting that the Vatican is one of the states that maintains diplomatic relations with Taiwan, and there is thus an ambassador of Taiwan to the Holy See who participates in such gatherings. This year, Pope Francis met the ambassadors on January 8, 2024, reminding them that for religious believers, peace is primarily a gift of God. Yet it is also a responsibility incumbent upon all of us, an appropriate comment in our times where peace, as he said, is increasingly threatened, weakened, and in part lost. The Pope mentioned the different wars that plague the world today and noted that they affect very much the civil population, particularly in Ukraine and Gaza. What is perhaps particularly interesting for us today, however, in the Pope's speech of January 8, is his comment that peace may be denied even in countries where there are no wars. Even there, Francis said, quote, "At every moment of its existence, human life must be preserved and defended. Yet I note with regret, particularly in the West, the continued spread of a culture of death which, in the name of a false compassion, discards children, the elderly, and the sick. There is also no peace," he added, "when there is no war, yet human rights are not fully respected." Quote, "The path to peace calls for respect for human rights, in accordance with the simple yet clear formulation contained in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, whose 75th anniversary we recently celebrated. These principles are self-evident and commonly accepted. Regrettably, in recent decades, attempts have been made to introduce new rights that are neither fully consistent with those originally defined, nor always acceptable." End quote. The notion of human rights has thus become confused. By continuously adding new rights, we risk forgetting what the core ones are, including religious liberty. The path for peace, the Pope stated, quote, "requires the protection of religious freedom and respect for minorities. It is painful to note, for example, that an increasing number of countries are adopting models of centralized control over religious freedom, especially by the massive use of technology. In other places, minority religious communities often find themselves in increasingly precarious situations. In some cases, they risk extinction due to a combination of terrorism, attacks on their cultural heritage, and more subtle measures, such as the proliferation of anti-conversion laws, the manipulation of electoral rules, and financial restrictions." End quote. Note the reference by the Pope to subtle measures and financial restrictions, which show an awareness that unjust taxes are today one of the weapons used to limit religious and spiritual liberty. The Pope also mentioned the crisis of multilateralism and the fact that international organizations which are supposed to work thanks to multilateralism, in fact, do not work. Finally, Pope Francis noted that religious liberty may be denied not only by violent persecution, but also by slander and the spreading of fake news. New technologies, including artificial intelligence, offer exciting opportunities, he said, but can also be used against justice, against religious liberty, against peace. Each year, the Pope publishes a message for the World Day of Peace. This year's message is devoted to the challenges of artificial intelligence. Quote, "It is essential that technological development take place in an ethical and responsible way, respecting the centrality of the human person, whose place can never be taken by an algorithm or a machine," close quote. In the end, the message that the Catholic Church, like other religions, propose to humanity is the one that gives the title to our webinar. There can be no peace without justice. Some 2,700 years ago, the Jewish prophet Isaiah said it in 3 words, translated in the Latin version of the Bible as Opus Justitiae Pax. Peace is the work of justice. In his January 8 speech, Pope Francis remembered his predecessor, Pope Pius XII, who went to the tragedy of World War II and adopted as his motto as a bishop, Opus Justitiae Pax. On a personal note, the future Pope Pius XII, under whose pontificate I was born, chose the motto because he was impressed by an inscription including it on the church of Santa Maria dell'Anima, where my maternal Bavarian ancestors, who came to Rome from Germany escaping the French revolutionary invaders' denial of their religious liberty as Catholics, were originally buried. There is no peace in the world because there is no justice. The state is waging wars of aggressions and killing civilians indiscriminately, are primarily responsible for this sad state of affairs. However, those who oppress their own citizens, denying their human rights, including their fundamental right to freedom of religion or belief, often through subtle financial measures and the manipulation of tax laws, also contribute to create a world without justice and thus without peace. We are here to ask for peace, justice, and freedom of religion or belief. The Taiji Men case is of international importance for 3 different reasons. First, it is a case where freedom of religion or belief has been denied for years in the otherwise democratic and peaceful Taiwan, proving that even such countries are not immune from injustice. Second, it is a paradigmatic case where injustice, the enemy of peace, has been promoted through the subtle but dangerous tool of fabricated tax bills. Third, the victim of the Taiji Men case is a movement that has powerfully contributed to spreading a culture of conscience, peace, and justice throughout the world. Opus Justitiae Pax. Taiwanese authorities should perhaps walk themselves around the Church of Santa Maria dell'Anima in Rome and meditate on the old inscription. I'm sure they sincerely want peace, but peace is the work of justice, and there will be no peace in Taiwan without justice for Taiji Men. Thank you.
What a very nice presentation. And we can now move on with a second lecturer with Professor Davide Amore, lecturer in History and Literature at the D'Annunzio Institute. Please, Davide, the floor is yours.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of God, the most merciful, the all merciful. In Islam, the concept of justice holds a profound significance, intricately woven into the fabric of the religion's teachings and practices. Rooted deeply in the Quran and the Ahadith, record of the world's actions and the silent approval of Prophet Muhammad as transmitted through chains of narrators, justice is not only a moral virtue, but also a fundamental principle governing societal harmony and individual conduct. The Quran emphasizes justice as a divine imperative. In Surah 4, verses 135 is stated, "You who believe, be upholders of justice, bearing witness for Allah, even against yourselves or your parents and relatives. Whether they are rich or poor, Allah is well able to look after them. Do not follow your own desires and deviate from the truth. If you twist or turn away, Allah is aware of what you do." This verse underscores the obligation to uphold justice impartially, even if it conflicts with the personal interests or familiar ties. Furthermore, the Prophet, peace be upon him, exemplified justice in his actions and decrees, setting a precedent for Muslims to emulate. His famous saying, coming from Sahih al-Bukhari, number 13, states, "None of you will have faith till he wishes for his brother what he likes for himself," encapsulates the essence of justice, advocating for fairness and empathy in all. Ibn Khaldun, a renowned Muslim historian and philosopher, expounded upon the nexus between justice and societal stability in his seminal work, the Muqaddimah. He astutely observed that justice is the foundation of sovereignty, and posited that a society's endurance hinges upon its adherence to equitable governance. Ibn Khaldun's assertion underscores the pivotal role of justice in fostering social cohesion and preventing discord. Moreover, the cyclical nature of civilizations, wherein the erosion of justice precipitates societal decline. He remarked, "In the beginning, the ruler has his share in the maintenance of justice. When the dynasty continues in power, the state of justice gives way to that of oppression." This cyclical pattern underscores the indispensability of justice in sustaining peace and prosperity within society. Indeed, the correlation between justice and peace is unmistakable in Islamic thought. Without justice, societal discord festers, breeding resentment and instability. Conversely, when justice prevails, peace flourishes, fostering mutuation among individuals and communities. In the Taijimen case, a spiritual organization faced persecution and injustice at the hands of authorities. This situation underscores the importance of justice not only at the individual level, but also within the structures of governance and the societal institutions. The Quranic injunction to be upholders of justice applies not only to individuals, but also to those in positions of power, who bear the responsibility of upholding justice impartially. Moreover, the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, regarding fairness and empathy resonate deeply in this context. The mistreatment of Taiji men exemplifies a departure from these principles, as the organization faced discrimination and unjust treatment based on its spiritual beliefs. Ibn Khaldun's insight further illuminate the Tajiman case, particularly his observation regarding the cyclical nature of civilization. The persecution faced by Taiji men reflects a breakdown in the state's duty to uphold justice, leading to societal discord and instability. As Ibn Khaldun noted, when justice gives way to oppression, the fabric of societies unravels, threatening peace and prosperity. Therefore, the Tajiman case serves as a stark reminder of the profound interconnection between justice and peace within Islamic thought. Without justice, exemplified by the plight of Taiji men, peace remains elusive and societal harmony is compromised. Upholding justice as mandated by Islam is not only a moral imperative, but also a prerequisite for cultivating a peaceful and equitable society. In conclusion, Islam extols the virtue of justice as a cornerstone of righteous living and societal harmony. From the Quranic injunctions to the teachings of the peace be upon him, and the insights of scholars like Ibn Khaldun, the imperative of justice resonates throughout Islamic discourse. As Ibn Khaldun aptly surmised, without justice, the path to peace remains elusive, underscoring the inseparable bond between justice and tranquility in Islam. The Tajiman case underscores the enduring relevance of Islamic principles of justice and their intrinsic link to peace. By examining this case through the lens of Islamic teachings and insights from scholars like Ibn Khaldun, we gain a deeper understanding of the profound implications of justice for societal well-being and harmony. Well-being and harmony will not be fully affirmed in Taiwan unless and until the Taiji case is solved. 谢谢。
Thank you very much to Davide Suleiman Amore for his Islamic perspective on the topic of the day. It is now my pleasure to give the floor to Willy Fautré, who is the founder and chairman and director of Human Rights Without Frontiers, Brussels. Please, Willy, the floor is yours for your observations on today's webinar and to start the second part of the webinar. Thank you. We cannot hear Willy. At least I cannot hear Willy. I don't know about others. Okay, I think there is a technical issue. So what we can probably do is we can start with the next video on conscience story series, getting the missing potted plants back. And then if the technical problem is sorted, I will give the floor back to Willy, please.
Conscience Story Series, Getting the Missing Potted Plants Back Because of an Awakening Conscience. Our house is on the street corner. If a car is parked on the side of road next to the house outside, it will block the sight of passing pedestrians and drivers. The village chief suggested me to put some potted plants outside to prevent other people to park their cars and avoid them from colliding with each other. Therefore, I put some potted plants there. One day, I realized that 2 large potted plants were missing. I thought that maybe someone who loves flowers took them away. I didn't take it seriously. 2 weeks later, another potted plant disappeared too. My son reminded me to find a solution. Thus, I visited the village chief to check the CCTV footage out. Unexpectedly, he laughed and said that the camera was actually not working. After careful consideration, I felt that if I allowed people to remove the potted plants repeatedly, it might further affect the safety of the neighborhood. I have learned wisdom at Taijiman Qigong Academy and surely believe I can come up with a good solution. I was learning calligraphy recently, so I went to a stationery shop and bought a piece of red paper. And then I wrote on the paper, "Stealing is a shameful behavior. Heaven knows, earth knows, I know, you know, the CCTV camera here knows it. God is watching what you do. Can you salve your conscience? Flower pots are placed here for the safety of road users. I give you 3 days to send them back quickly. Otherwise, I will call the police. I suggest you thinking twice before action." I posted the announcement on the wall. Neighbors who came to take out the garbage on Monday looked at it carefully. They all said, "Oh, that's impossible. The pots were moved away. How could the person possibly give up and return them to you?" But the next day, something magical happened. Early in the morning, I opened the door and saw that all the potted plants were back, and I was really surprised. Although these potted plants are not expensive, conscience is very important and is a force of stability in societies. I believe that everyone has conscience. I want to awaken their conscience. I don't believe that the person would feel at ease when taking my potted plants again and again. The person chooses to find his own conscience back in the end. As the old saying goes, "Do not fail to do good things no matter how petty the deed. Do not engage in evil no matter how trivial the deed." I apply the wisdom to solve problems in life and awaken the conscience of others, not only to help myself, but also to help others. The more I think about this case, the happier I am.
What a very nice video. As always, we have very nice videos. And I will try again giving the floor to Willy if the mic works. I think we cannot hear you. Yeah. I think it's a problem with the Zoom probably. So if you don't mind, I will go on introducing the second part of the webinar, which consists in the testimonies of the DC of Taizhimen. And the first DC is Kenny Cheng, regional director in a global company, and the DC of Taizhimen. Please, Kenny, the floor is yours.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Alex. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah, this is Kenny. I'm working as a global chemical company as a regional director for product stewardship, product stewardship and regulatory work. So today I'm going to share my thoughts on the International Day of Multilateralism and Diplomacy for Peace, which is today, April 24th. So yeah, I'm glad to be here to share, my views for that. And actually, this day was announced by the United Nations in 2018. And I'm going to use my experiences and perspectives to share how to advance the multilateralism and promote the world peace through diplomacy. Actually, the Charter of the United Nations, as all of us knows, states that one of the purposes and principles of the United Nations is to resolve disputes through peaceful means. And it is determined to protect future generations from scourge of wars. And in September 2018, most national leaders reaffirmed their commitments to multilateralism and international peace and security during the general debates. And this commitment actually was further strengthened at the high-level dialogue to reaffirm commitments to the multilateralism held on October 31st, 2018. And on December 12, 2018, actually the United Nations General Assembly, they adopted a resolution establishing the International Day of Multilateralism and Diplomacy for Peace. And the General Assembly resolutions invite all the member states, observers, and United Nations organizations to moderate the International Day in an appropriate manner and promote the benefits of multilateralism and diplomacy for peace, including through educations, public awareness raising activities. And on April 24, 2019, the first event to commemorate this International Day was held at the United Nations headquarters in New York. So up to now, it's been 5 years since the day was formally announced in 2019. So the day has been established through the UN's goodness. However, you can see nowadays the extreme nationalism and regionalism and populism continue expanding across the world. Recently, the Russo-Ukrainian war by the intense conflicts continue threatening people's lives and properties in these two countries. And the people also in Gaza region are devastated by the Israel-Gaza war triggered by the kidnapping and the terrorist attacks result from the long-term religious and territory conflicts in Gaza region. In addition, the intense situations between North Korea and South Korea, also mainland China and Taiwan, and many of the land and the maritime boundaries in the regions continue threatening all the people in the world, and alert us the sense of urgency, but also big challenges to strengthen the multilateralism and promote the world peace through the strategic diplomacy. And the international organizations like UN, EU, and G20 actually are working very hard, right, to lower the risk of the regional conflicts through lots of diplomatic mediations. However, you can see that the effectiveness is still under observations, right? So for me, actually, as I said earlier from the beginning, I've been serving a global company, chemical company, for almost 30 years. The company I serve is like a small-scale multilateral organization, and we do have many manufacturing sites and offices in many countries. And our colleagues actually come from different countries and regions. Our customers are all, spread around the world. And every day, we need to deal with many things globally, through our research and developments, manufacturing, transportation, sales, marketing, regulatory compliance, and customer services. So our goal for the company is crystal clear, which is to create our shareholders' values through our value chain. Furthermore, more aggressively, we hope to create more welfare to all the stakeholders and people and improve the sustainability to the world. Fortunately, we do not have any kind of, nationalism and regionalism and populism in the company. On the contrary, we advocate the mindset and behaviors of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which we call DE&I, and we try our best to embrace. And this DE&I concept are founded from the company's long-term history of core values. And our core values is respect for people, safety and health, and the highest ethical standards, and protect the earth. So, from my, work experiences, if the nation and the government can really try to adapt more positive concept and measures, from the long and life enterprises like what we are doing, actually there may be some more possibility that we can make the, multilateralism, come true. They said if the government can abandon using, the regionalism and the nationalism to pursue their individual interests and public power, like most of the enterprises goals or the UN Charter, to pursue the biggest welfare of the people in their country and also in the world, and also to try to adapt the common value of the human beings as their high-level guidance of the government's operations. I think the idea of multilateralism may come true in the long run. And besides work, when I am off duty, I actually practice Qigong in Taijimen Qigong Academy. In the meanwhile, I'm the international volunteer of Federation of World Peace and Love, which is for power. So I think, Alex, we met last time in the US, right, in California, together, right? And Dr. Hong is my sifu and president of For Power, guide these to practice Qigong. And most importantly is to walk the talk and to advocate the conscience, as we see the video, right, as the foundation of people's code of conduct. So we also advocate love, peace, and human rights through the cultural and martial art performances. So up to now, we've been travel more than 100 countries in the world, under Dr. Hong's leadership. And Dr. Hong also invites the influential leaders in the world to ring the bell of world peace and love, make wishes for love and peace to the world, and influence more people in the world. So I was very fortunate to follow Dr. Hong to travel, to certain states or countries like New York, California, Vienna in Austria, Lucknow in India, and so on, to promote the concept of world peace and love and human rights. So through that, travels, I was really very impressed and fully convinced that the ways of our cultural performances are really excellent strategies to have, advance the international collaborations and world peace. So I believe culture is the best, bridge to connect people together from emotions perspective. And through the cultural exchanges, people can break their virtual barriers of races, religions, and languages, and moreover, to improve the compassion and appreciation of people from different cultures. So Taijimen culture is delivering the love and peace messages through various performances of martial arts, dancing, and music, inviting the influential leader in the world to ring the bell of world peace and love, really, and make wishes, will certainly advance the butterfly effects to accelerate the progress of world peace. And the core of the whole efforts is what Dr. Hong is advocating. That is to cultivate the conscience as the foundation of every people's code of conduct every day. And this will enable the world to transform the era of Dharma ending into the era of conscience. And everyone can devote themselves to the world peace. And while we are thinking how to promote the international peace through diplomacy, I think the cultural exchanges with love and peace are the best strategy to open the dialogues and help the mutual understanding, mitigate the disagreements, so that we can work together for the world peace as the final goal. So while we are celebrating today, I deeply realize the multilateralism and promoting peace through diplomacy are really crucial to overcome the challenges we are facing. But as a global citizen, like me, I wish to work with every global citizen in the world to advocate conscience as people's code of conduct and cultivate conscience into their collective consciousness of all the people in the world. In parallel, open the dialogues internationally through various forms of cultural exchanges of love and peace. And with all of those efforts, I think we should be able to be united, to be good, and work together to achieve the world peace as our final goal. So that's my sharing for today. So thank you for listening. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you very much, Kenny. And I think everyone will agree that every small step that everyone takes is the way forward to achieve peace in the world. So everyone can do something for it to be achieved.
Yes.
Thank you
That's
very
true.
much again, Kenny. And the next Daisy with her testimony is Miss Marty Wei, Sales Director and a Days of Taijimen. Please, Marty, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to join this forum. April 24th is the International Day of Multilateralism and Diplomacy for Peace. We call on every country in the global village to abide by the basic principle of consultation, tolerance, and solidarity, and work together for world peace and all kind. I'm very moved by this day because also I worry that it's conflict with the competition under capitalism. Because as we know, capitalism, all the countries, enterprises, and even individual will come up with many ways to consolidate strong private benefits and property. For example, when I was in elementary school, my teacher told me to be honest and to be any help of anyone. But as I grew older, I studied in order to get into good university, to strive for a good job, and to achieve more, or to make my parents to be proud of me. We competed with my classmates and are not willing to share learning experience with each other. So there were less and less classmates who can be good friends of mine. So I felt lonely, unhappy, and nervous. My heart was sick. After I became Taijimen Dizi, my Shifu teaches practicing Qigong to improve our health with no regrets and no complaints. I feel my Shifu loves us and guides us to become a better person, and then to help and influence people more. Our society can be harmonious and peaceful when people around us are willing to help each other. This concept has changed me a lot, and I was determined I want to be such a good person. Once I participated in an event to promote a declaration of love and peace. A truck driver promised to be a road guardian. As you know, truck look like a huge monster in the road that everyone keep away from them before safe. I was moved by his ambition. His ambition is to protect all the drivers traveling with him, and his story inspired me a lot. We make a role. The role we play in life may be like a truck that dominates the people around us. Being good or being evil in the single thought deeply affects the life which are related to us. In the workplace, we might dominate others, and maybe we have the right to decide the personnel arrangements. In last September, I currently serve as a general manager of Taiwan BU. The team has more than 50 people and the lost more than $2 million. Before I took up office, many people worried that I would fire them and they feel uneasy. That it reminds me of when Taijiman was innocently persecuted by judicial and tax law. Shifu lead us to practice Qigong to comfort and calm our heart, while providing to the judiciary and tax law that Taijiman was innocent and has no tax debt. We went around the world to promote conscience and wishes, lead people around the world to conduct the wishes we made and do good deeds. Then I held a meeting to expand 2024 business goal and organizational adjustments and emphasize that each of them is very important power to the team. Those who are willing to accept the challenges and change together should stay. In the end, 2 of them choose to leave. Well, it takes more than 7 months since I took over, and the team has been working together stably and to achieve targets every month. And right now, this team gradually turned losses into profits. In addition, I am responsible for Asia Pacific region, the territories from New Zealand to Africa. There was a period of time when parallel imports of the goods are very badly serious, such like Philippines parallel import to Singapore, Thailand import to Vietnam, and so on, which disrupted the local prices and impact local market badly. So I took the advantage of Computex computer exhibition to invite all agents from Southeast Asia country to participate in product seminars. One of the topic was parallel imports, because no agent like the bad impact of this kind of import. They share their sales experience with each other and become friends. So they also reach a consensus. The agent who do parallel imports should be buy back the goods and compensate the losses, including the pricing difference. So after that, the problem of parallel imports did not happen again, and the performance of each region grows steadily. This echoes today's topic. They join by consultation agreement, which they discuss, and their performance has grown steadily. This wisdom I learned from my Shifu, and the consensus they negotiate is more effective than I made rule to ask them to obey. To practice the spiritual meaning of the International Day just today, we must rely on everyone's conscience, because making the decision, we use our conscience to examine it thoroughly. Is it benefit to yourself only or other as well? We all fellow traveler living on the same planet, and the method we use to change the world will change ourselves too. At this time, there were wars, famines, pollution, epidemics on the earth. We need to awaken our conscience, protect each other, and treat each other with empathy. Then we can have the chance to take a turn for the better. I wish everyone can live and work in happiness and peace. That is all my sharing for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your testimony, and it was very interesting to know, and every time it's interesting to know how the personal experience in Taijimen has affected the personal, professional lives together with own personal lives. So Marty, thank you very much for sharing your personal experience with us today. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you. The next presentation, the next testimony is the presentation by Mr. Oscar Chu. Oscar is a salesperson and a deist of Taijimen. Please, Oscar, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Alex. And good evening, everyone. I'm Oscar, and I've been part of the Taijimen since before I was born. My parents brought me here. Also, I'm an international volunteer with both the United Nations NGO World Citizen Association and the Taijimen Cultural Goodwilling Groups. And today is the International Day of Multilateralism and Diplomacy for Peace. As UN Security says in 2021, multilateralism is important. It involves bringing together the stresses of civil societies, business, local and religion authorities, and others. It is all about improving coordination among international organizations, financial institutions, and public-private partnership to address global change such as epidemic, environment issues, and conflicts. There are the problems we are facing everywhere, so we must work together, supporting each other and unite. How do we create united? I think it's been having conscience and love. When we have a conscience, we think about others and act better to solve problems. And when we have love, we can keep going even when things are difficult. And my Sifu, Dr. Hong Daozhi, who leads Taijimen, teach us about conscience and love. He has spent his life spreading Taijimen cultures and the idea of love for humanity. He has traveled to 103 countries to share culture, beauty, and promote love and peace, and the edge of the conscience. Leaders and important people from around the world respect him for this. His efforts bring people and culture closer together. When hearts are close, we naturally work together to help everyone. The value of conscience and love promoted by Taijimen have always been about justice and brotherhood. Last November, I have the honor to go to India with Shifu to attend the Global Chief Justice Conference. In Shifu's speech, he mentioned that world have happened because people lack God in their heart, and that having God leads to love, and the love leads to peace. During the conference, we organized events such as the ringing of the bell of World Peace and Love and the World Leaders Summit and Love and Peace. We also invite state leaders and High Court justice to discuss and sign declarations like the World Day of Worldliness, International Day of Conscience, and World Day of Pride. We hope this action will unite the world using conscience and worldliness to create positive change for sustainable development. Since I was young, my Shifu taught me to do that right, good, and kind, and to learn by doing. We highlight conscience and love, encourage me to help others and spread love and peace through Taijiman culture's performance. This February, I went to Istanbul, Turkey with my Shifu for 27th Eurasian Economic Summit. The theme was emerging from crisis, building sustainability, cooperation for a better world. At the summit, there was a ceremony to ring the bell of world peace and love for global planets. Up to this March, the bell has been rung by 544 leaders from 146 countries, including 70 heads of state and 9 Nobel Peace Prize winners. At the summit's dinner, we had different culture, food, and performers from the East, including the peacock, qilin, and lion, bring brightness and positive. We also went to a vocational high school in Turkey when we held the International Forum 2024 on the love and peace. These themes was building a better world with conscience and hope. We shared martial arts and other performances which the teachers and students enjoyed. However, Taijiman respected Qigong and martial arts groups faced political and religion persecution on December 19, 1996, without any reason. This persecution has continued for over 25 years during the false accusation and unlawful persecution by Attorney General. And despite the Supreme Court ruling on July 13, 2007, that Taijiman was innocent and owed no tax. A few corrupt judges continue to abuse the legal system, delay justice, and promising legal tax bill. This unjust action repeatedly harms Taijiman Shifu and Diji, block their effort to help people worldwide. We have been to category Boulevard many times to speak up for fair tax reform. Many young people like me have shouted at the president's office, hoping the government would listen to our call for justice. Have they heard us? And do you see us? To stand up for justice and renaissance, Taijiman, Shifu, and Dizi have kept going for 28 years. It's been tough, but we believe justice is in people's heart. We won't give up because we know the truth can't ignore. Transfer justice isn't just about fixing the past. It is important now, especially with corrupt officials. We need answer now, not in thousands of years. On the International Day of Multilateralism and Diplomacy for Peace, I want to say that Taijiman Shifu and Diji are a force for good in the world. Even though we face violence from the government, we keep work for the well-being of everyone. We hope the governments will care the human rights, persecution, case urgents, Taijiman, and return our sacred land. That will illegal taken. Let the positive energy of Taijimen Shifu and Dizi spread freely. And let's move forward with conscience and love more quickly. And thank you all.
Thank you very much, Oscar, for also recalling all the different experiences around the world, which is always interesting to recall, because you've been with Taijimen, the disease, with Dr. Ong, you've been really around the world. So it's always nice also to keep an eye on the very beautiful videos recorded all around the world with the different diseases and with Dr. Ong's speeches. So thank you very much for your testimony. And the next testimony we have today, Miss Winnie Lu, who is a counseling teacher and a dean of Taijimen. So please, Winnie, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Winnie. I'm so glad to attend the forum. Today, we talk about the International Day of Multilateralism and Diplomacy for Peace. This topic can remind us to pay attention to the importance about the cooperation among countries. For me, even we talk about person to person, cooperating with our family, friends, colleagues can also help the living environment be more peaceful. It's so important, but also so difficult to do. I'm a school teacher for psychological counseling. When I work at school, listen to the students. They talk about the difficulty to keep the relationship with their classmates, friends, teacher, and family. I try to do my best and try to listen carefully to understand what they feel and what they think. In the meanwhile, I will cooperate with their caregiver and share my evaluation. Also create a positive and interactive environment for the student to grow. However, it is easy to say, but very difficult to do, especially when I am caught between different managing systems. I often find it hard to understand the opinion of both parties in a neutral and unbiased manner. Through the practice of Qigong, I can also relax my body and mind. Through slow and deep breathing, I feel that the fatigue in my body is reduced. By inhaling more oxygen through breathing, I feel more energetic. Finally, through meditation, a calm mind can transform complex international networks into more simple ones. Some good idea will pop up. Through these two methods, I can continue to provide warmer service to teachers and students in school. Facing students, I can listen more passionately and understand their difficulties in the environment. It also allows me to value the cooperation with the team so that caregiver can better understand the children's current situation and provide more appropriate interaction methods. Therefore, I'm very grateful Dr. Hong Daozi, my mentor who taught me Qigong and Yin Yang philosophy. In February of this year, I also took my eldest son to learn the good skills of Taijimen from Shifu. I hope that through such learning, he can have a healthier body and the wisdom to distinguish what is right or wrong. We prepare a red envelope to express our gratitude to Shifu. In an environment dominated by Western culture, I cherish the opportunity to give my children the experience of traditional culture from the Eastern culture. During the study at Taijimen, my son also learned how to cooperate with the senior brothers and sisters and learn how to relax and laugh. I feel very happy when I see him become more joyful. I'm happy that I made the right decision with my children. However, in this place where people practice martial art and cultivated their mind with many traditional artist virtues, they are still persecuted by illegal tax bills. Many international human rights experts have found that this is persecution of human rights for belief and have expressed solidarity with us. The disciple's gift of respect to his master follows the ancient tradition of respecting his master. The Taiji Qigong Academy has never had any tax issues since its establishment in 1966. However, the National Taxation Bureau only treated the 1992 disciples' gift to the master as a crime school tuition for tax purpose and even handed over for enforcement. According to the 1997 interpretation letter from the Department of Education of the Taiwan provincial government, it has been clearly stated that the teaching of Qigong is a folk skill, and the establishment of crane school is not allowed according to the regulations. Therefore, Taiji cannot be a crime school according to the law. However, the National Taxation Bureau illegally imposed tax on Taiji in the name of crime school. Moreover, currently in Taiwan, no martial art or Qigong group disciples are taxed on gifts presented to their master as gifts, but this is illegal only for Taiji sect. Unexpectedly, Taiwan, known as a beacon of democracy and freedom in Asia, has public, fiscal, and taxation power that blatantly violates the Constitution right to freedom and equality. This is really bullying. Only July 13, 1996, the criminal court ruled for the third instance that Taiji was not guilty of fraud, tax evasion, or violation for the tax. However, the National Taxation Bureau continued to issue illegal bills and team up with the Administration Enforcement Agency to illegally seize and illegally forcibly auction our land intended for a self-cultivation center in Miaoli. Shifu and many brothers and sisters spend a lot of time buying that land. They hope that more people in the world who are interested in self-cultivation can have a more comfortable and peaceful place. A special place to cultivate your body and mind. Government officials such as Ministry of Finance, the National Taxation Bureau, the Ministry of Justice, and the Administrative Enforcement Agency, in order to obtain performance bonus, have jointly abused their power and illegally seized the Taiji land standard for a self-cultivation center. Violated Article 129 of the Criminal Law of Illegal Taxation. We hope that online viewers will continue to urge the National Taxation Bureau to withdraw the 1992 enforcement action in accordance with the law, cancel the illegal taxation penalty, and return justice to Taijimen. Our Shifu has great love and sees the seemingly dispute among countries or the environmental disasters caused by the imbalance of nature. At the age of 80, he still leads his disciples to travel around the world and share the important idea of conscious love and peace with the leaders and important figures of country. Hope everyone can pay attention to their inner conscience and make decisions that are beneficial of the world. I hope that our government, in line with its duty to cancel illegal tax bills, will give us fairness and justice so that we can share this kind intention and energy with everyone without any worry. Thank you for your all listening, and I wish all live in peace and good health every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Winnie. And now I will introduce, it will be my pleasure to introduce the last speaker among the disease. It is Sherry Chen, who is a graduate student. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Willie. Hello, everyone. It's truly an honor to be here on this special day. April 24 marks the International Day of Multilateralism and Diplomacy for Peace. This day serves as a reminder that resolving conflicts worldwide requires more diplomacy and wise dialogue. The world also needs to show more spirit of unity and cooperation and take more collective action. As Dr. Hong Daozi, the leader of Taijimen, once said, the world's affairs are unpredictable, and fortune and misfortune are interconnected. In this moment, the collective unity of all global citizens, action with conscience and goodwill to promote world peace and eliminate crises, has become a crucial action for human survival and the sustainable development of our planet. Since 1999, Taijimen Dizi has been promoting love and peace around the world, organized cultural performance and exchange activity at their own expense. We initiate the global sign, declaration for the moment of an air of conscience and ceremony of ringing the bell of world peace and love to encourage people to elevate their conscience and change the world. In the past 20 years, we have traveled to 103 countries on 5 continents and visited more than 300 cities. More than 500 leaders from all walks of life rang the bell for love and peace in the world and made commitments for love and peace. I have some experience accompanying my Sifu on cultural exchange abroad, which not only enriched my life, but also deepening my understanding of the importance of conscience. One memorable experience was attending the Parliament of the World Religions in Chicago in 2023. This event united people from diverse religion backgrounds worldwide under the theme, a call to conscience, defending freedom and human rights. We expose the significance of conscience, freedom, human rights, and peace, share ideas and seek solutions to the existential challenges facing the world. The conference featured exhibition booths, the native forest, and interval ceremony, including the Taijimen's prayer to the heaven and the ceremony of ringing the bell of world peace and love. The ritual of prayer to the heaven is an ancient custom. In ancient times, Leaders usually held this event to pray for good weather, abundant harvest, national prosperity, and world harmony. Nowadays, Taijimen Shifu and 弟子 aim to awake everyone's conscience to good deeds, share chanting ancient melody, performance auspicious ritual, and seeking blessings from divine dragon and phoenix. The goal is to gather the power of goodness and wish for blessings from divine. The ceremony of ringing the bell of world peace and love at this event left a lasting impression on me. When my Shifu, Hong Daozi, leader of Taiji men, signaled and rang the bell 9 times, each clear sound seemed to echo through time, touching my soul deeply. In that moment, I feel incredible sense of peace and tranquility, as if my spring was cleansed. It made me reflect on the world, global health crisis, and extreme weather events of recent years. In the face of such three, inner peace and harmony are essential in this chaotic work. They are not only empower us, but also fuel our effort for positive change. This journey of promoting love and peace has taught me that this force can transcend barriers and unite us all. Despite our diverse beliefs and cultural background, we all pursue the common goal to establish a world of awakened kindness, unity, and essential peace. Despite the remarkable cultural contribution to Taiwan and the world by the Taiji men, it has endured 28 years of hardship in Taiwan and still has not received a verdict. The Taiji men test case is known as a 228 case of legal taxation in Taiwan state history. After 28 years of human rights persecution, although the third trial of the judiciary has determined that Taijimen is innocent and does not own tax, it still survives land from tax bills totals, even corroborated with the advanced state enforcement agency to illegally depriving Dr. Hong and Taijimen of land, intending for building a self-cultivate center. Despite this, my Shifu continued advise 弟子 to communicate with the government peacefully and rationally, insisting on using love, peace, and conscience to remind government officers who have done wrong to bear the responsibility and cancel illegally taxes. On this day, as we mark the International Day of Multilateralism and Diplomacy for Peace, we call upon global citizens to exercise their inherent human right and raise the voice of seeking justice, and urge government to listen to and accept the voice and reform proposed for the people. We hope that the Taiwan government will courageously correct its mistake, initiate genuine tests and illegal reforms, rectify wrongful cases, and uphold justice. Only they can Taiwan tax system to progress and foster a society of peace and happiness. By sharing and this, thank you everyone.
And thank you very much, Sherry. Thank you so much for reminding us that the role of the Dizzy, your role, your personal role, the role of all the Dizzy is really essential for propagating the message of peace and love. And also by traveling through more than 100 countries on the 5 continents, visiting hundreds of cities, you spread not only with your voice but with your heart and with your conscience the message of the importance of peace, love, and conscience. And also, you show how it is important for the world to fight for justice, whatever the injustices may be around the world. You are really the apostles of Dr. Hong that are building up the future of the movement, but also the future of humankind. And this is really, for us, who are older than you, an encouraging message that you will be the ones who will fight for justice, love, and peace in the world in the upcoming years and decades. Thank you very much for this contribution. And I will now finish with a short presentation about the topic of the day, no peace without justice. As it was said, it is today the International Day of Multilateralism and Diplomacy for Peace. And this day, which was established on the 12th of December 2018, it was through a UN resolution, and it was first observed in April 2019, so very, very recently. In the grand tapestry of human history, the pursuit of peace has been central, if elusive, endeavor. From ancient civilizations to modern nation states, societies have grappled with conflict, seeking pathways to harmony and stability. Yet, amidst this quest, one fundamental truth emerges: there can be no lasting peace without justice. In the case of Taijimen, there is no peace of mind among the dozens of thousands of Dizi who have unsuccessfully calling for justice for over 25 years. Justice, in its essence, embodies worth of every person. History bears witness to the transformative power of justice in shaping societies. Movements of civil rights have challenged entrenched systems of oppression, paving the way for progress and reconciliation. The pursuit of justice is not merely a lofty ideal, but a tangible force driving social change and collective advancement. And this is what Taijimen is contributing to with its fight for full justice. The interplay between justice and peace is deeply intertwined, each reinforcing and sustaining the other. Peace between countries and social peace at home, devoid of justice, is fragile. Built on the foundation of inequality and exclusion. History is replete with examples of ostensibly peaceful societies marked by simmering grievances and systemic injustices, which finally erupt into conflicts. Despite the inherent synergy between justice and peace, realizing this vision faces formidable challenges because entrenched power structures, corruption, and impunity obstruct the path to justice. The treatment of Taijimen by the successive governments in Taiwan is indicative that their lack of political will and courage to deliver justice in their situation is most probably not limited to their case. It is broader than that. The Taijimen case is a visible sign that reveals a deeper problem which may lead to the formation of pockets of social discontentment, tensions, and divisions in Taiwan. Conversely, Justice serves as a catalyst for peace, addressing the root causes of discord and fostering inclusive societies. When individuals and social groups perceive fairness in the access to opportunities and the fair administration of laws, they are more likely to trust institutions and cooperate with them. This trust forms the bedrock of social cohesion and peaceful coexistence. This is the purpose of Taijimen, social cohesion and peaceful coexistence. Addressing global injustices requires collective action and solidarity. It demands a commitment to upholding human rights, promoting equity, and combating discrimination in all its forms. Only through concerted efforts can justice be achieved. In their fight for justice, the legal channels, public demonstrations, protests, and petitions that the Taijimen leadership has used for years have shown their limits. The imperative for justice extends beyond national borders. Alone, Taijimen cannot be successful in combating huge administrative stubbornness and harassment, discrimination, and denial of full justice in Taiwan. A second breath to continue the fight can only come from the support of an extended coalition beyond the borders of Taiwan. This strategy, put in place with international think tanks, human rights NGOs, legal experts, and scholars in religious studies, has been active for several years now. One of the main results is that the Taijimen case has been put under the scrutiny of major influential US institutions in Washington defending freedom of religion or belief. It is only through the pressure of an international coalition of friends of Taiwan and friends of Taijimen that a political decision in Taipei can now be forced to put an end to the unresolved case of Taijimen, which worriedly tarnishes the image of the country abroad. The final decision of the Supreme Court on the 13th of July 2007, confirming that Dr. Hong and his co-defendants were innocent of all charges, including tax evasion, was a moral victory. But it was never fully implemented as an act of justice. And the consequences have been disastrous for Taijimen, such as the confiscation of parts of their property. The more justice has been delayed, the more it has been denied, and this must stop. Thank you for listening for my thoughts that I wanted to share with you. And now I would like to introduce Marco Respinti, who is the director in charge of Bitter Winter magazine. And after those conclusions, we will have a video. Yeah, Marco.
Some technical issue for Marco's video.
Yes.
So I play the final video first.
Okay, so we'll start with the video. Thank you. It's a video entitled Leaders Honor Madame Yu in California and Ignite the Light of Peace. Thank you.
A concert of gratitude and blessings was held on April 7th at the Lukeman Theater of California State University by Taijimen Qigong Academy and Federation of World Peace and Love for Power, and other 4 organizations to commemorate Madame Yu Meirong's passing. Former heads of state, experts, and scholars from various fields, and NGO leaders attended the event to pay tribute to her. Madame Yu was the co-founder of Taiji Men Qigong Academy and the vice president of For Power, who dedicated her entire life to spreading love and peace across hundreds of countries. Her efforts were recognized by leaders from various backgrounds, who awarded her with certificates of commendation and awards. Moreover, she was honored with the President's Lifetime Achievement Award, signed by President Biden.
The AmeriCorps and the Office of the President of the United States honors Taijimen Qigong Academy co-founder Mother Yu Mijo with the President's Lifetime Achievement Award for your lifelong commitment to building a stronger nation through volunteer service, signed by President Joseph R. Biden Jr., 2024. Congratulations.
Various cultural performances, including music, dance, and martial arts, showcase the fusion of ancient traditions with a modern vibe.
I think through the dance, through the performance, that reach the heart of people. And this is, I think, a very beautiful way to teach what is love, conscience, peace, how to do good things, how to elevate our spirit to nice things.
I'm so happy and I feel like I'm in heaven.
Carrying on the legacy of his wife's warmth and love, Dr. Hong encouraged everyone to follow their conscience, pray for the world, and take action to contribute to its sustainable development.
Today, let us make sincere wishes. Let us embrace hope and take actions of conscience, continuing to bravely move forward on the path of love and peace.
So I take that back to my students and then to inspire them to try to come up with peaceful solutions and getting along with different types of people.
I learned something that actually what you call the world peace actually supposed to come from our heart, from individual, and more people and more people and more people, and we're supposed to spread that love peace to everybody.
This concert not only expressed gratitude and remembrance to Madame Yu, but also encouraged the world to continue her warmth and love, work together with conscience and love for a better world.
Thank you so much. And I can say, as I was present on those days in California, that the commemoration of the role of Madame Yu to the expansion of the message of peace, love, and conscience was absolutely moving and tremendous. And what you saw, those shows in the theater of the university absolutely reflect the energy that is in the disease of Taiji Men. And the future is now certainly in good hands, because they are in the hands of committed young people. Thank you for everything coming from the disease, from Dr. Hong and from late Madame Yu. And now the conclusions of this webinar by Marco Respinti.
Thank you. It is my pleasure to offer some concluding remarks to yet another rich webinar in our series on the Taiji Men case, for which I thank scholars, Lizzie, and the organizer, CESNUR, the Center for Studies on New Religions, and Human Rights Without Frontiers. The architecture of today's webinar was shaped by two twin concepts: multiculturalism and diplomacy, on the couple of words to which the United Nations calls our attention in this day of observance. Peace and justice are the couple of words upon which we chose to reflect in connection to the Taiji Men case. They are interconnected. In fact, multiculturalism and diplomacy fulfill their aims when they work to secure peace and justice. Art is powerful in conveying messages that may otherwise be quite dry. Let me just share my screen briefly. Artists usually represent peace and justice as beautiful beings adorned by a number of eloquent symbols. Peace comes with an olive branch in one hand or in connection with a candid white dove to show mildness. Justice is blind and carries a scale and/or a double-edged sword to symbolize even-handedness. Sometimes artists depict them as allegories, sometimes as deities. In fact, many religions and traditions of the world, from antiquity to the present day, venerate peace and justice as divine beings. It means that human beings perceive peace and justice both as divine features and gifts from above. This implies that searching for peace and justice and operating to grant them to humankind is a divine endeavor or a divinely inspired mission. Said differently, peace and justice are not merely political enterprises, but also spiritual tasks. Artists invariably see both peace and justice as female. This suggests a strong connection between peace and justice on one hand and some of the noblest and universal attributes of women on the other end. Their energy accompanied by their firmness, their sweetness accompanied by their resilience, their courage accompanied by their endurance, their spousal vocation accompanied by their attitude and leadership, their maternal care accompanied by their strength in overcoming difficulties. But the most important feature of artistic depictions of justice and peace is that they often go together. In fact, they are strictly correlated, but not only. They are faces of the same reality. We could even see them as the same concept considered in two distinct respects, or as two avatars of the same supernatural being, if we want to borrow from the language of Eastern religions and use the metaphor of the divine to signify complementary, visible manifestation of the one philosophical unity. Several painters, many of them Italians, roam along this path. Let me show you again. For example, Jacopo Negretti, known as Jacopo or Giacomo Palma il Giovane, or the anonymous artist in the workshop of German master Hans or Johann von Aachen, or Alessandro Varotari, known as Il Padovanino, Pietro Liberi, Laurent de la Hire, a Frenchman, Antonio Domenico Beverenzi, Giovan Battista Gauli, known as Il Baciccio, Stefano Pozzi, and Corrado Giaquinto. Their paintings on this subject show peace and justice, as you saw, as women bound together and in a rather intimate posture. They often look like passionate lovers. They even kiss. And it is well known that a kiss is more intimate, a gesture, than even sexual intercourse. Many contemporary ideological constructions have been inferred from this representation, which I just showed you, and they all go astray. In fact, the source and reason of justice and peace carnally kissing each other is the Bible. verse 11 of Psalm 84 in the 1592 edition of the Old Testament in Latin called Sixto Clementine Vulgate, or simply Clementine Vulgate, reads, Justitia et pax osculate sunt, which in the King James Bible corresponds to verse 10 of Psalm 85 and is translated into English as righteousness and peace have kissed each other. Again, briefly, let me show you. See, they are even in the title of some of these paintings, or visible in some of them. See, some of the paintings I showed. Indeed, the Bible abounds with kisses. The topic has been famously perused also by an author I mentioned in a previous webinar on the Tajman case, Elred, an English Cistercian monk and the abbot of Rivaux in North Yorkshire, England. In his manuscript, De Spirituale Amicizia, on spiritual friendship, probably completed around the year 1160, he describes three kinds of kisses. First, the corporal kiss, a sign of connubial love, reconciliation, and true friendship, which can also be perverted into a disguise of evil, as Judas betraying Jesus supremely exemplified. Secondly, the spiritual kiss, as the union of souls that uses the metaphor of the mouth, but doesn't need physical contact, and is ultimately Jesus kissing a person through the mystical action of another person. Thirdly, the intellectual kiss, or when a soul desires a spiritual kiss from Jesus in person as an emblem of total fulfillment. A famous contemporary and kindred spirit of Elred, Bernard, a French Cistercian monk as well, and the abbot of Clairvaux in northeastern France, composed his Sermones in Cantica Canticorum, or sermons in the song of songs between 1135 and 1155. They are his speeches on the most famous love poem in the Bible, a profound unity of the spiritual and the sensual. In them, Bernard repeatedly deals with the communion between the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in the Christian Trinity, and finds no better metaphor to convey the sense of that unique intimacy than a kiss on the mouth. No matter how many bizarre interpretations of all this have been given, the Roman Catholic Church has canonized both Elred and Bernard as saints. But why justice and peace kiss in the Bible and in Bible-inspired art? Because the deeply religious allegory that characterizes their relationship is marital. The two become one. Their individuality is exalted in fusion. Their union is much more than a mere sum. It is interaction that breathes. The spiritual eye is able to see through the personification of justice and peace into two women and appreciate the profound meaning of the representation of a spiritual generative union that symbolically magnifies its capacity by multiplying the number of its maternal references. Something similar happens in a female convent, not only in Christianity, where the superior is called mother and generates daughters that call each other sisters and may in turn become mothers of other nuns. Justice and peace are spouses because one bears fruit for and by the other. Again, the Bible in the book of Isaiah states it perfectly, quote, "The work of righteousness shall be peace." End of quote. Peace does not stand in the void, and justice is meaningless without an end. To be fully achieved, peace needs that justice implements its goal. All this bears most clearly on the Taijimen case, where a group of pacific, law-abiding, patriotic, and most important of all, innocent citizens of the Republic of China, Taiwan, have been denied their fundamental right to religious liberty for almost 28 years. In that case, justice has been done, but theoretically only. Taijimen has been, in fact, repeatedly cleared of all charges by all levels of Taiwanese justice. Yet Taijimen's Shifu, or Grandmaster, and Dizi, or disciples, continue to enjoy no peace as if they were guilty. This happens because justice has not kissed peace yet. In the Taijimen case, justice has been relegated to an abstract realm, but has no concrete influence on reality. There is no intimacy between justice and peace in Taiwan. For sure, the ordeal of the Taijimen will continue until justice comes down on earth and meets peace in a kiss. This will happen only when political authorities in Taiwan decide to give tangible follow-ups to court decisions and rule that enough is enough, finally kissing Taijimen's suffering goodbye. The world is watching and waiting.
We will now put an end to this webinar, and that was again rich with the presentations of various experts and disease, and also with the testimonies coming through videos in which many disease took part with all their energy and faith in what they believe in and what they are doing. And so goodbye to everybody, whether you are in America, in Asia, in Taiwan, in North Africa, in Europe, and we will be pleased to be again with you, most probably at some time next month. Thank you for your participation and contribution to this webinar. Bye-bye.